Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Hey traders, John Howell here. We're going to be looking at the markets, what's been going on, what do we expect, or what the things that I'm looking at moving forward this week when it comes to the actual stock market. Plus also, guys, I want to be looking at the fear and greed index, be looking at gold, silver, the mining sector as well too. Also, I'll be looking at things like Tesla as well too. So some stocks that I want to walk you through and show you what I'm seeing right now. But by the way, guys, before I do start, I want to start off by saying that I recently watched a thing on Netflix. It was basically Elon Musk and you know how SpaceX was developed and them going to the space station and so on and so forth. And I tell you right now, guys, we are so fortunate, so fortunate to have like Elon Musk is like the he is just like we should be so grateful for someone like Elon Musk, you know, because someone like, for example, you know, back in the day, right, they had Thomas Edison, who he reminds me so much of Thomas Edison, right? Because Thomas Edison did so much to create the light bulb, right? He kept trying, and then and that's how he made the light bulb. So I'm so grateful to be able to have Elon Musk in our life, right? Because as a role model in our life as well too, about not giving up, about failure is okay, about just keep going, and the setbacks that that he had to go through with SpaceX is just incredible. So I just wanted to mention that there. I know a lot of people. So let's have a look at the stock market. Then I'll get into gold and silver there. Let's actually start off with the fear and greed index first. So the fear and greed index. This is something that I was talking about back when we're down the bottom here, and I kept saying to people that the fear and greed index is really starting to get below the 20 level, and that's a massive extreme fear reading. And the way the market works, right, is when you have extreme fear in the markets, that's actually a good time to buy the markets, not a good time to short the market, because you know this here is what, this is when people are extremely greedy. That's obviously when the market tops out, and this here is when the market is extremely fearful. So you can see what's actually happened here. We recently bottomed and we had this very nice move up in the fear and greed index, and now we're sort of just in the neutral territory. We're not really getting any reading out of that yet. So looking at through here, we can see that on the actual fear and greed index, we're about the neutral phase through there. So it's not really giving us anything either here or there. So it's not really doing that, and that's the reason why, for me personally, just watching what's going on right now on the actual stock market, and the market starts to give you different patterns. So generally you will see these patterns form, and you'll go through these buying and selling legs, right? So we might go through a very strong buying leg, but then there's a thing called strong sellers. Are the sellers and buyers weak or strong? And what I mean by that is that if the market goes up like that, that's a strong move, right? So that's a strong buying leg. If the market goes down like this, that's a strong selling leg. But if the market does something like this, notice how that's actually a very weak. It's actually a very weak leg, right? When it's actually a very weak sort of section through there. When we're not really getting the strong buys through there, right? So this is actually called weak buys. So there's a couple of different things that I look at here when it comes to the market to see what's going on here. And because if the market does like through here, right, you can see the market actually had a very strong move up, but look what actually followed, a very strong move down. So we're getting both of these selling leg and the buying leg. They're both what? They're both strong, right? So therefore, it's like they're both fighting it out. So, but times when you get stuff like, let me bring up this one here. right? Times when you get stuff like this. Look at this here. So you have a very strong move up, and then notice how we actually get what? A very weak, very weak pullback. Notice how it's not strong. Strong would be something like this. Makes sense? It would be something like that. But then we get a very strong buying leg. We get a very weak pullback. And then guess what? Then we went for another good buying leg through here. Again, guys, this is stuff that I use all the time when I'm looking at the markets and reading the markets, because I'm trying to see where's the strength in the markets, right? Because the market does give us good signals around where is the strength in the markets coming from and what's happening here. And you can see this from an angle perspective. This was the same back here as well too. See back here, if you go back to at the start of the video, at the start of the year, I actually went long right here, and the reason why I went long was for many reasons. Again, if you actually like to learn my actual trading system, how I use to trade for income, then if you go to Johns, JOHNS freetraining.com, or there should be a link in the very first link in the description. Click on that, go join my next webinar, and I'll teach you all the details to my trading system and how I trade the markets for income, that is for income. So we can see here, look at this here, right? Strong move up, and then we had what? We had a very sort of just sideways, that's a wick. It's weak, not a wick, a weak leg through here, right? So we got the sellers are very weak here. We had a very strong buying leg, and then we just went sideways. Generally, when we get that, when we start to get a bit of a breakout of this sort of pattern through here, let me draw generally when we get a bit of a breakout out of the pattern, we generally go for another move up. Why? Because it's the sellers are showing that there's actually a very weakness through here. That'd be very different if the market did something like that. And then you can see the market ran up. We went through the same thing again. Market ran up. We're actually going through the same thing again. So you can see that whenever we do get strong sellers in the markets, that's obviously telling us that the sellers are strong through there. But if we have a strong buying leg and then we go through a selling leg through here and the sellers are struggling to try to even put it down, it shows that there's a lot of buying support in the markets. Make sense? So, it's if we have a look at, say, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the thing that I'm watching for and keep an eye out for on the Dow Jones is just that. We're looking at this right now, and the buyers are holding strong. The buyers are holding strong through here right now as we speak, right? Now, it doesn't mean we're definitely going to break up, but right now what I'm seeing is okay, we went through a big strong buying leg, but see what's happening now? We're just doing this. Is this now that is a strong buying leg. Now we're going through a weak leg on the downside. When we go through that, remember I said before about the examples, right? If we do start to break out like this, then that tells us that was just a bit of a pullback, a weak pullback, and therefore our probability of this continuing up is strong now because the buyers are holding this, that they're not letting the sellers knock it down very quickly. Now, that's what's happening right now, right? That could also change. And that's the reason why, looking at this here, there's a few things I'm looking out for. If the sellers are going to start to become more dominant in this leg through here, we would want to see something like this, right? A very strong leg like that, and then we'd probably see something like this, like a much more of a free fall in the markets if we got something like this bar through here, right? So that'd be the first thing there. And then that's where the sellers will come in there. But right now the buyers are holding strong, and we're seeing that the market is actually sort of just going. We're not getting something like this. See, we're not getting that strong selling there. See how that's a very strong move down, but look what's happening here. We're just going like that, see? So if we do hold here and we start to get a bit of a breakup like that, that's going to change. That's going to show us there's a bit of a short-term change in momentum, because we're in a short-term momentum leg down, even though it's very weak, right? We're not getting any strong move in either direction. So if we do get a breakout, that's going to show us, okay, the momentum is now changing back to the upside, and therefore we're now likely to go for another run as well. So that's what I'm looking for there on the Dow Jones. The same thing for the S&P 500 and all the other indices as well too. It's a very big thing here that we had a very strong move up, and then now we're just getting this very weak leg pullback through here. So that's going to be the big thing that I'm watching out for, is how does the market handle this week moving forward? Do we start to get more of a strong selling coming out of this level through here, and then we start to sell off through there, or do we hold and we start to break back above my short-term momentum trend line, which is all I'm doing, guys. I'm just saying, when is the pullback likely to end, right? So if I go back to, and I use this from, we had a strong move up. If the buyers are gonna gain another leg to the upside, where is it likely to happen? And this is the big thing. This is a real big thing, right? So if we go back over time, let me go back over time, right? Let me go back over here when we right? So you'll see, let me just draw all these back from back here. So the market ran up, all right? So the market ran up, then we had a what? Then we had a pullback. When we broke the pullback right there, we had a move up. Then we had another pullback. When we broke what? When we broke the pullback, we had another move up. Not much going on through there, right? So we had a very short-term pullback there, very short-term pullback there. This one here was what? This one here was a very long-term pullback. And notice it actually stayed below this. And how I'm using this trend line is I'm just connecting the highs. So you can connecting the highs through there, connecting the highs and connecting the highs. And notice how it actually stayed below that. But when we actually got back above it, guess what? The buys gain strength once again. So that'll be the key for me to say, okay, when looking at this market here, you can see that we are, again, we're getting a very weak pullback. So what happens here? Do we start to hold and get back above? If so, this short-term pullback is probably going to be very short-lived. But until we get that, we need to. I want to see something like this first. That's going to give us the confidence that we're now going to see another leg to the upside. Until we get that, we're in this short-term pullback, and we just don't know that the pullback could last a bit longer before we start to see that change in trend from there. So another thing that I want to share with you was the home builder index. Check this out. So this is the home builder ETF. XHB is the code there. And check this out. So we've got this is a weekly chart now we're looking at. And we can see that over the long-term picture, we've had an enormous amount of resistance level through here. We had all this resistance through here. We've had a lot of resistance and support through there. Look what we're coming down to right now. Very, 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 very interesting. So home builder index is definitely getting smashed right now. I guess that's because of the inflation and so on and so forth, right? So I got a few people that I know that are in the building industry, and they've been saying that inflation is definitely been a killer for them. So we can see that, if you are in the building industry, guys, leave a comment below. Let me know what you're seeing on the front line as well too. So we're seeing that through there. So we could be getting ready for a very short-term bottom in the home builder index soon. So it's going to be really interesting to see what actually happens here to hold that on that level through there. So very, 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 very interesting stuff that I'm noticing through there. When it comes to the actual stock market, a few stocks that are coming in my mind right now that I know you guys may be interested in, which is Barber, right? Here's the really interesting thing that I'm talking about Barber before I get onto silver and gold. And the thing that I'm looking at with silver Barber is, remember I said before about the strength in the moves, right? So let me actually just take this off the screen here. If we have a look at Barber, I actually like Barber. I think Barber is one of those companies that's going to come screaming right back. So I'm really watching it for an investment opportunity. I'm not in it yet, but I'm getting very, very close myself to getting in and getting involved with it. But the big thing I'm looking out for is this, right? Look at this here. So we had this very strong move down, and we've had a strong move up, and now we're getting what? Now we're getting this. See how? Remember I said before about the momentum of the pullback. So we have this move up through here, and now we're just getting this rejection, and now we're getting a pullback through here. So if the buyers are going to start to gain another leg to the upside and start to really gain some movement up towards the 200 level up here somewhere, then we will want to see something like this and then a breakout like that. Therefore we're going to break out, and the momentum of this pullback will come to an end, and then the next buying leg is probably likely to start. Again, the same thing that I talked about on the energy sector, and then also the stock market as well too today. So it's the same thing over and over again, right? We're getting a very weak pullback through here. We're not getting a very strong move down yet. So it's going to be really interesting if we do start to see the big key levels for me really are that above that 130 level there. That 130 level on Barber for me, I can see that was actually a major level of resistance all through there. And you can see what's happening here, right? So that'll be the key area for me. We want to start to see Barber get really above that 130 level there. So if we do hold through him, we start to get a very nice break up. That could be quite a nice complete change in trend from there. But so far, if we have a look at what's been going on, so far we've been having lower highs all the way down, lower high, equal high, lower high, lower high. So this is another lower high through here. So if this is going to change, we need to start to break up to make a higher low, and then we see Barber moving to the upside. Talking about Elon Musk. At the start of today's video, which I'm so grateful to have a role model in our lives like him. When it comes to just trying things and doing things, and it's quite amazing. So right now on Elon Musk, we can see that we've had a very strong move up through here, and we're getting a bit of a pullback. We're not really getting much when it comes to, obviously we had a very sort of strong level of support and resistance around the 900 level, and we're sort of stuck in that range through there. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see when it comes to Tesla. I wouldn't be too surprised to see a bit more of a bit of a pullback, and then maybe see another move to the upside. So that's what I'm seeing through there, guys, when it comes to the stock market through there. So let's go have a look at gold and silver for this week. The big key levels I'm watching for this week here, when it comes to gold and silver are. Let's actually start off with the good old gold. So gold right now has indeed been at one, it was in a bit of a channel through here, and it broke out, and then it ran up. So that's the very first thing that happened with gold. Secondly, is that actually had a bit of a pullback now towards the 1900 level, and you can see that 1900 level is like a double whammy, right? A double whammy for support. We had support level through here, support level, and then we had all this support level through here as well too. So you can see that we're getting a very, very sort of strong area around the 1900 level, and right now we got a pullback, and now we're just going sideways right now. So the big thing that I'm watching for when it comes to gold this week is that, do we continue to follow through on this breakout that happened last week? You can see here that we had this sort of short-term triangle pattern that happened through here, and then now we're getting a bit of a strong breakout to where we are right now on gold through here. So do we get a bit more follow through and start to break above that 1960 level? And if we do, then that's probably going to be it looks like there's actually there's a lot of buying starting to come back into here right now when it comes to gold. So it's going to be really interesting to see what actually happens with gold. Do we break above 1960? If so, we're probably going to race to all-time new highs. Let's go have a look at silver. And the big thing for silver for me is I've always been watching this pullback through here and seeing, okay, when do we actually start to break out? We had this very strong move up towards this resistance level here, and now we're getting this pullback. So the big thing for me, especially on silver, is that is this really big picture. As I zoom out, we can see what's happening here right now around the $24 level. So it's going to be really, not only are we in this sort of flag formation, but we're getting towards the end of this massive triangle pattern. And the squeezing of this pattern, once we break out, is going to create tremendous moves in the markets. I'm not actually in silver myself, but looking at silver, I mean, watching silver now closely, especially for the last couple of months, and noticing the pattern that's developing, I'm getting very close to pulling the trigger to getting into silver. So I'm not there yet. I want to start to see a bit of a buying leg first to know I'm starting to jump in on that. But if we do start to break above here, the squeezing of this pattern is going to just break out, and we're gonna see one incredible big massive move when it comes to silver there. Especially, again, let me just take that off the screen there so we don't need that. You can see this big triangle pattern that's actually forming right now. So silver is likely to go burka. Now, guys, the thing about triangle patterns is that you just never know where they're going to break out. We need to be careful of not to try to jump the gun, and that's the same thing for me, and say, oh, well, it's definitely going to break to the upside, because that may be your view. I'm very bullish the metals and miners, so my view is it's going to break to the upside, but it may not. So for me, I need to wait for confirmation first to say, okay, we're now likely to be breaking out and up to then capture a much bigger move. And then once we actually start to see this thing breaking out above that 25, 26, then I believe we're on our way to $50 silver through there. Let's go have a look at the GDX. And the GDX, really nice sort of, we were in a triangle pattern through here. Okay, we did actually have some form of a triangle pattern all through there, as you can see. Right, so that was a triangle pattern through there. As you can see, we did break to the upside, and then now we're sort of squeezing up. We're holding here, high, low, and we're holding through here. So we're getting a lot of buying pressure coming into the mining sector right now. And so the big thing I'm watching out for is, do we start to break above this sort of $42 level? If so, we're probably going to race towards these highs up here in the 2020 high that we made here on the GDX through there. So we're actually getting we actually had a very nice sort of squeezing up pattern and a nice upper on Friday. But we can see here, once again, we're just sort of squeezing up and not much going up. So are we going to get a very strong breakout and a follow through? That's going to be really interesting to see what happens through there. Move over now through to the GDX, a GDXJ, which is my baby in a sense. And if I have a look at what's been going on here and I squeeze my charts up, you can see that we've now had a very strong breakout. This longer term massive channel that was in there for many years, okay, has now broken out. We're now going sideways. Remember I said before at the start of this video about reading the strength in the moves or strength in the markets. We had what? We had one, a strong move up. Two, we've had a very weak sideways leg. So the buyers are holding strong here. And so therefore, once we get a breakout like that, then we're probably going to see a very nice move in the GDX there. We've got a very nice holding pattern through here. So a very good strong breakout bar. We'll probably see us move back up towards these highs and a very nice leg up there. So really watching this breakout to see where if it does actually break out on the GDX through there. Let's go have a look at the SIL. SIL has been just a lackluster lackluster doggy, and it just we're not really getting anything going on through here, right? We're possibly trying to get a bit of a breakout, but this is just a mess when it comes to SIL. You can see we're not really getting any clear picture, so we could be getting ready for a breakout. If we do, then we're probably going to race towards that 42 level there, but nothing. Like, I don't have any investment investments in the SIL or either the SILJ, but looking at the SILJ, it's very similar to the GDXJ in looking at, we've had this very strong move up, as you can see. Now we're going through this very sort of weak sort of pullback through here. And if we had to use the momentum trend lines like I used on the stock market, we can see that we would have to use, I'd have to use something like that in the markets. So that'll be the momentum trend line that I'd use. And therefore we've had a strong move up through here. Okay, it's sort of semi-strong. We're not it's not a dominant strong move, but we've had a nice move up. We've had this sideways movement through here. That's telling us, guys, to get ready, because we could be getting ready for a breakout soon, and then a move back to the upside again, because we've had strong buyers. This is now a weak selling leg, and there's strong buyers, weak sellers, and then therefore we're now likely to see another leg like this, especially if we do get a breakout to the upside. Traders, I want to invite you to my webinar that I'm running today. And on this webinar, I'm going to share with you all the details to my #1 trading system for the last 17 years and how I only trade 1 hour per day. Plus, also going to be learning the 3 secrets that I had to master over the last 17 years to generate a really good income. If you go to johnsfreetraining.com, or there should be a link in the description, click on that. Go over there right now, register. If you are struggling with the trading right now, I promise you this is going to completely game change, because you're going to understand why you are going backwards and why you're losing money. And then I'm going to teach you exactly what the system I use that gets me a really high % win-loss ratio. So this is what I want you to do right now. Go to johnsfreetraining.com. Go over there, register for my webinar right now today, because you're going to absolutely love it. Or there should be a link in the description. And I look forward to seeing you on the webinar. So go to that right now, and I look forward to seeing you on my next webinar. Go to that right now. Go to johnsfreetraining.com. Go to that right now.